Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my Dead Space video review. First off, let's start with the plot. Basically, you're part of a search and rescue team who receive a distress signal from the USG Ishimura and proceed to go and repair it and find out what's wrong. Sounds simple enough, but when you get there it turns out everything's gone to hell. The whole crew is dead, the ship is in ruins, and you end up getting stuck there with the only option to proceed through the gory corridors, killing things and repairing things. Now I've just made the game sound pretty boring. Let me assure you that it is not. It is freaking awesome. The atmosphere in this game is fantastic. There will be times where you will be crapping yourself. You won't know what's going on. The necromorphs will be coming at you from behind, from in front, from above, even below you. You just don't know when they're going to come, and when they do come, you will most likely be screaming at your telly or just running away. The game produces an absolutely brilliant atmosphere that encourages the player to panic, which I have to admit I've never actually done before in a video game, except for maybe the odd rare occasion in a certain Resident Evil game. Resident Evil 3, damn you Nemesis.
I suppose I should be glad that Ham's alive, but I still don't trust him.
Graphics, really good. I mean, the lighting's fantastic. I mean, as you can imagine, it's a horror game, so everything's pretty dark and eerie, but I mean, this is done really well. There's also sort of like a mist effect sometimes. This sort of makes everything a bit, can't quite see what's up ahead, better go slowly, and then when you do go slowly something will jump out at you, so you're like, for God's sake, I should have just ran through that bit. But again, that fits in with the atmosphere in the game, making the player do things they wouldn't normally do, which is good. Sound, I've already said, in the atmosphere is really good. Things you'll hear moaning of, like, perhaps survivors, or are they necromorphs? You don't know. You'll hear like creaking machinery, things that don't sound quite natural, so you best not guess what they are, because it will probably be more worried than you are at the current moment in time. And yeah, brilliant sound. There isn't any music that I can think of, but then again, I don't think music would really suit this game, seeing as how it's a survival horror. Don't particularly want rock tunes blaring down, because that would just destroy the whole atmosphere, even though it would be quite cool. AI is absolutely fantastic. I mean, in most games the AI will just, you know, attack you and respond to what you, the player, does to them, which, you know, fair enough. That's pretty much what video games are. But in this one, the AI is actually a little bit more than that. There was one time that I can remember off the top of my head was I was fighting a load of necromorphs in the medical bay part of the game. There were too many of them, so I started to panic, walked into a room, closed the door to stop them getting in after me, and sort of thought, right, I'm safe in this room, I'll just wait till they all sort of like go away, or perhaps until I can maybe find some health in this room or something. Suddenly outside the room it all goes quiet, and I thought, oh, they're gone. I thought, no, they can't be gone, they wouldn't go away. So I looked out the little tiny window, and sure enough they were gone, and it was all deathly quiet. So I thought, oh, thank God for that. Turned around and the bastards were coming through the vents in the room. I absolutely crapped myself. I cannot believe that they had done that. Basically I just blew them all to hell, but point being, yeah, really impressive AI. Length of the game. Length of the game is pretty long. I have to say, it's 12 chapters, which doesn't sound much, but it actually is when you're playing it, at least for the first playthrough. I don't know about a second playthrough because I haven't gone through it again yet, but I'm sure it won't be drastically shorter. But it does feel long because of level design's really good. I mean, what you press, I think on the Xbox 360 version, you click the right stick, you get like a holographic line sort of thing telling you where to go, but there's always multiple objectives, and you usually have a choice in which order you tackle these objectives, though it doesn't really matter. But anyway, the level design sort of encourages exploration by the player, and while you're going about your travels you will find, I don't want to say secret because they're not exactly secret, but you'll find off the wall rooms, if you like, that you don't have to go in, but if you go in, they'll buy, you know, you might find some ammo, or you might find a audio and visual log, which by the way are the game's way of sort of letting you know what happened to the crew and all that, a la Doom 3. Also, what I should mention is the anti-gravity sections of the game. They work really well, seeing as how you're in a big spacesuit, sort of industrial grade thing. You've got magnetic boots, so when you're in a vacuum, you basically just stick to anything metal, which, hey, you're on a ship, which basically means everything. So you can walk on walls, you can walk on the ceiling, you can obviously walk on the floor, and then because it's 0G, you can jump from wall to wall or whatever to advance. And the game actually makes use of this for some interesting puzzles. I'm not interested in the fact that it makes your brain work, because it is pretty simple, you know, move a power node into this generator to advance, but interesting in the way that because you're in 0G and flipping from wall to wall, the perspective is always changing, and sometimes you can confuse yourself as to where you are. You're like, hang on, I thought this was the left wall, not the freaking ceiling. That sort of thing works really well. But going back to the actual levels themselves, they are long, they are filled with plenty of things to do, plenty of enemies to kill, plenty of scares, and they will take a while to complete. So the overall game experience is long, and it's long in a good way that makes you want to keep playing and you're not bored by the end. And speaking of the end, there is a fantastic boss fight at the end, which I must say everyone has to get to, because it is really jaw-dropping, the scale of it. So in conclusion, Dead Space is a brilliant game with an absolutely fantastic atmosphere, decent gameplay, and a pretty good plot, I have to say. I mean, this is extended upon by a feature-length animated film, which I recommend everyone should see. Maybe not buy, but see. And a comic book series, which I'm not really in the business of buying comic books, but you can download it as sort of a video file on the Xbox Live and PlayStation Store. So go buy or rent Dead Space if you haven't done so already, because it really is the sleeper hit of this year.